Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Starting at the front of the car here, we're going to go up and under here. And then you're going to go under the front of the car, and the first thing you're going to see up under here after the bumper is your anti-sway bar right here. And for that, you can see up over the top of that is your oil filter. And that is where you're going to actually need to go up under and grab a hold of that to take it off. Now I will show you as well right here. If you go under the front crossbar here, and here's the axle, straight up from that is this tube thing here. Not tube, it's more of a channel. That's what we'll call it. It's a channel. And directly up from that is your oil filter. So when you pull that off, they made this neat little channel actually to drip the oil here. So you'll be able to put a little your pan underneath here and hopefully not make too big of a mess. I do think that's a very neat idea that they came up with. And I'm sure that's one of those after the fact, hey, the people are going to make a mess, and they actually spent a couple extra bucks and made something that hopefully works. I haven't tried it yet, but we'll see. Now we're in front of the car again. Here's your anti-sway bar, the cross piece that we went up under, and you're going to go straight back to another cross piece here, and your oil pan is right there. Okay, then we're going to go under that and straight directly back behind that. So now we're standing as if we're, the back of the car is, our back is to the back of the car. And right here is where you're going to drain your oil out. Right on the other side of this cross piece. Orientate yourself to the drive shaft here. Maybe that would help. So honestly, this is like almost dead center of the car. It probably wouldn't matter which side you came in from, although the passenger side is probably a couple inches closer from the passenger side. So I'm going to throw this in here, as I've thrown in other times. You do not need to reef these things down. If you need a cheater bar to pull this thing off, somebody tightened it way too tight to begin with. You do have a specific torque, you got to figure out that for yourself. But I'll make sure, yeah. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. This thing is ridiculous. You just don't need to do this, people. And this was probably professionally done. Oh my God, I hope that's not stripped. It was probably leaking a little bit. Instead of going and finding one of those gaskets, or he probably put it on with a battery powered something or another, or an air powered something or another. That's probably actually what happened. Just don't use that kind of stuff on these. Normally I would go ahead and undo the oil filter as well, or I mean the cap up top as well. I should have done that first, but hindsight, it's in there. I ain't going to be doing it now, so I'm just going to let this drain for a while. So the next thing we got here, I got the oil filter out. We're going to go ahead and fill this oil filter up a bit. Now it will go down quite a bit. You'll find you can get quite a bit of oil in one of these filters. You should do this with all oil filters, but some, like I think it's my truck, I don't know, some of them are like sideways, some of them are practically upside down, it seems like. So some of those you only want to do about halfway full. I tend to actually fill them up anyway and let the oil fall where it may, just to make sure it's as full as it can be when I tighten the thing up in there. I think that's about as full as it's going to get. And then I usually make sure you have a clean finger when you do this. So take a little bit of this excess and wipe it on around this gasket here. That will just kind of help it seal and move. Another thing, and I've said these in a lot of the past videos, but I've decided I'm putting these in all my oil videos because you may not watch one of my other ones from my other rigs. Another thing you need to do is make sure that on your old one the gasket is on here. because I've heard stories, and I've actually one time had it happen where the gasket came off in there, stayed in there. You go to put your other one on and you have a problem with it not sealing. So now we're in the hood. There's the air filter there, batteries over there. That kind of orientates you. Front of the engine's here, or the front of the car is here, I should say. And then right here next to the air box is where you put your oil in at. Right above that, above where this goes across, that's transmission. This is engine oil. That's where you check your oil at. So I will admit, this one is really kind of hard if you don't get it on just right to get back off. That time it came off pretty good, but you want to maybe, I don't know, make sure when you're doing it you got it just to where it's going that way, and make sure that you can read the writing, because that seems to be, when I put it that way, then it's a little bit easier. Now admittedly my hand is not functioning very well, but that does make it quite a bit easier. So if you're having a problem getting that on and off, I do believe that this has a specific place it wants to be. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put some oil in. Now, side note, to do this job you're going to need a 13 millimeter, but you are going to also want a setup like this. This has a wobbly on the end of it, with one of these type that you go straight into the oil filter, because I could not get a regular oil wrench. This is the first car I absolutely could not get a regular oil wrench on if I tried. So there's no room up there. You definitely have to bring it out. Bring this straight up to the oil filter. Now size, that's going to vary depending on what your oil filter is. So I'm not going to tell you what that is, because they changed from brand to brand what size they are. So there you go. Now you know. Hopefully this was a good enough video to show you how to change your oil. I do seem to have a bit of a leak, so I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. But I like castor oil. Used it my entire life. So if they would like to sponsor me, please give me a call. Alright. Well, thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to be a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.